Check, 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 check. We are checking it. Let's see. Can we hear it? There we are. Okay. So let me get that squared away. All right. All right, we're about to get going in a minute. All right, we're getting fired up, boys, and we're going to knock this shit out. We're going to knock this shit out. All right. All right, all right, all right. Welcome, everyone, to Locked, Loaded, and Goated special Saturday night edition for the offseason. And the reason why it's special is Alabama goes into Auburn and beats them at home in basketball. I know this is mainly a football predominated show, but by God, the electricity when you go to overtime and Mark Sears, pedestrian day. I mean, just pedestrian, but makes the floater at the end absolutely critical play. Big time players step up in big time moments, and that's what he did. So just to give you a clear idea, Mark Sears, one of the best players in the country, has had a rough, couple game. People are honing in on him and stuff. So with that said, he had 9 points, 7 assists. He was 1 for 4 for 3. But damn it, if he didn't play every minute of the game, and damn it if he didn't hit that shot to win it for Alabama. Roll Tide, Alabama goes into Auburn and beats them. Auburn is 27-4 on the year, a clear number 1 seed, 15-3 in conference play. Alabama with the win, holding on. They're 24-7 and 13-5 in conference play. And now I think we're getting ready for the tournament. So with that said, where does that leave Alabama looking at, NCAA tournament? So we have not, we've pretty much given up our number 1 seed. Losses down the stretch to Florida, Tennessee. Obviously the Tennessee game was close and it was at Knoxville. It was close, but I think the losses there are going to kick us out. I think right now it would take a very, very, very good showing in the SEC tournament and a very close loss if we didn't win at all. A loss. But it had to be close, and it had to be good. A team like Auburn or Tennessee or Florida, a clear tournament team. If we were to do that, I think we could shore up a number 2 seed. But right now, like I said, let's say they go out and they lay an egg against a Mississippi State, which is not a bad team. They lay an egg against an Auburn. Not Auburn's, Auburn's not nothing to sneer at. But let's say they lay an egg against like an Arkansas because, they've got talent. If they were to do that, I think they've got a 3 seed no matter what. Today, right now, with their resume, they're a 3 seed. That's okay. A 3 seed's good. But I think in all honesty, I think we really might have a shot with the SEC tournament in playing our way into a 2 seed. I think Alabama's cooked in terms of actually getting a 1 seed. It would take a miraculous run in the SEC tournament, beating Tennessee, Florida, the Auburns, and winning that. That would be nothing to sneer at. I'm just going to tell you, winning the SEC this year, that is a huge deal. There is a lot of talent in the SEC, and Alabama being 24-7, 13-5 conference, and they're the 7th ranked team in the nation. like I said, this is, I mean, Florida's fifth, and right now, like Florida is absolutely destroying Ole Miss. Ole Miss had just beat Tennessee. It's crazy. This year has so much parity in the SEC in basketball. But Florida looks like a very good team. They're 26-4, 13-4 in conference. They mirror Auburn, and they're just as good, just as talented. They beat Auburn at home, and they beat them with emphatic fashion. So right now, Florida looks like they could go deep into the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament. And I'll be honest, I hope we get seated where the SEC can kind of spread out and have a chance to really show what the conference is made of this year, because I think we're going to surprise some people. I know in the past we've come out and we've lost those games early, and we've lost those things disappointingly, like Auburn last year, but I don't think that's the case this year. I think everyone is ready for adversity, and I think these guys are going to go, man. Like Ole Miss, and this is just being honest, Ole Miss is 21-9. They're probably going to lose this game, so they're going to be 21-10. I'm telling you, Ole Miss is going to go through, and they're going to win some tournament games. They're going to get seeded low. I'd say an 8 or a 9 seed, and they're going to dominate some people. They're a good basketball team. They're a good basketball team. I'm excited. I'm excited about basketball, and I'm normally not as excited as I am, but a lot of good SC talent. But let's go over the Alabama-Auburn game real quick. So Grant Nelson shows up big, 23 points, just 3 3-pointers for the game, 3 3-pointers for the game. So that's huge. And then obviously, like Cliff Amore, 15 points. LeBaron Fallon coming up with 15 points. Chris Youngblood with 9. Aiden Sherrill off the bench with 8. Aiden Holloway with 5. I know Aiden wanted a big game. It just didn't happen playing against his old team. It doesn't matter. You don't have to hit home runs. Sometimes all you have to do is just bunt the ball down the line. Anyway, so with that said, like I said, Alabama played a great game today. I mean, the fact that they even went to overtime against Auburn, like I said, I fully anticipated when it went to overtime us losing the game, just because it's at home. Auburn had the momentum. I'm like, oh, it's over. We held on. Adversity, awesome. Can I just say, Janai Broome, that's a stud, dude. That's a stud. I don't know what to tell you. Everyone may be sitting here talking about Flag being one of the best players. This kid, I mean, dude, somebody's getting a stud with him. I'm just telling you, this guy's going to be a stud in the NBA. I mean, just an absolute stud. But he shows up in big moments. So he's a big-time player that shows up in big moments, and I absolutely love Janai Broome. I know he is an Auburn guy, but with that said, I mean, you respect. I mean, iron sharpens iron. The Iron Bowl was here. He is going to make us better, because there is nobody that's going to play us like that. I mean, outside of Cooper Flag, that's the only guy in the whole that's going to play as well as that guy did today. So I feel like we're more prepared. I feel better about our chances going into the NCAA tournament and SEC tournament now after this win. I really like it. So congrats to Alabama. Congrats to my boys. We won. We got us a win. So now we need to focus on the SEC tournament and trying to get where we need to go. Anyway, so that's the big start. That's the big start of the show right there. That's it. I mean, I got on here early. Me and my wife are going to do some cooking. So I got on here early because I was like, man, I was so excited. I wanted to sit here and talk about this. So one of the things that we miss, and I'm disappointed that I didn't get on here, but we missed a second and 26th day on February 26th. We weren't able to celebrate it. But for those of you that did celebrate it, I hope you had one for me, because second and 26 will live on in infamy in Georgia fans' minds. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's one of the greatest moments in Alabama history. Hey, what's up, Jackson? How are you, bro? And I'm sorry that I missed it. I'm sorry I missed second and 26th day. But happy second and 26th day. So, with that said, Alabama basketball wins big against Auburn. Auburn is a clear number 1 seed. There is no doubt. I think right now you're looking at Auburn. I think if we had to be honest, if we had to just say outright, let's just talk about who looks like a number 1 seed. Anyone that says anything but Florida, you're crazy. Florida is a number 1 seed. Duke is a number 1 seed. Auburn's a number 1 seed. Now, where do we go from here? So That's three teams. That's three teams. Who else? Who else gets that last seed? Is it Tennessee? They look like a number one seed. They really do. They really do. They lost to Ole Miss this week, but they look like a number one seed. I'd give Florida the nod over them. Thank you for following, Matt. I'd give Florida the nod over Tennessee right now. That's me. But if you're going to say Houston, so the only thing about Houston is Alabama has the head-to-head. Alabama has a head-to-head against Houston, although the overall record would not reflect a win for us. So I'd give it to Houston, and I'd probably put Florida in over Tennessee. That's nothing to sneer at either, because Tennessee could get a 2 seed, and there's no harm in that. There's no problem with that. Like I said, I think the SEC, I'd actually like it because I want us to be spread out in the tournament. I think we're going to make huge runs. And we are really, really going to upset some people. And I don't mean upset like as in it'll be an upset. I mean like we're going to make people's feelings hurt. But Auburn, clear number one. Even with the loss today, because it was a top 10 loss, clear number one. Duke is a clear number one seed. They may get the number one seed overall in the tournament. Yes, I think they do too, Blake. Alabama does have the strength. We have the head-to-head. We have a strength of schedule. I mean, we play in one of the better conferences. But if you look at their overall resume, the 25-4, I just like when we went back to the playoffs. You know what? It doesn't matter. I think what'll dictate if Alabama can go to the finals of the SEC title, SEC championship. I think we might have a shot at a number one, maybe. Like, let's say Houston gets upset first round of their conference tournament and Alabama kind of plays through. Yeah, I think how good do we think Duke is? I mean, okay, it's a question. It's a good question. I think they're good. They have Cooper Flagg, who, if you didn't hear me just a second ago, I was literally giving Janai Broome all the credit in the world. That kid, to me, is one of the top 5 players in college basketball right now. Janai Broome, absolute stud. Absolute stud. I think Cooper Flagg is every bit as good as he is. I think Cooper Flagg is every bit as good, and I think Cooper Flagg is a top 5 player. I think he's the reason why Duke would be in it. I think Duke. I mean, great players step up in key moments, and I think Flagg would do that. Mark Sears did it for us today. So, and here's the thing: Mark Sears had a rough stretch of games. Here lately, he's had some good ones, had some bad ones. Today wasn't a great game for Mark, but you know what? He showed up. He did what he needed to do. But I still think there'll be a 1 seed. Could they win it all? Yes. I mean, it's Duke, so let's just be honest. They have talent there. They have talent. So could they win it all? Yes. I think right now, looking across the landscape, I'm going to say on honesty, I think Florida and Auburn are 2 teams. Tennessee is right there too, so do not mistake this. And Tennessee plays a physical style of basketball, and so does Houston, so does Florida, and so does Auburn, really. I mean, and honestly, any one of those teams could win it. Alabama's there too. Alabama's very deep, so they could win it too. But yeah, Janai Broome is, yes, I just said that. I really think he's going to be a great NBA player. I think someone's going to get, I mean, I don't know where he'll go. Doesn't matter. But he's going to go somewhere and he's going to make someone very happy. Bama, Florida, Tennessee, Auburn, Duke. Yeah, I mean, so you've got 5 teams there. Who are you putting at 1 seeds for the NCAA tournament? You only get 4. And you remember you got Houston there, which I know Alabama probably looks a little better against Houston. And that was, like Blake said, that was one of the toughest stretches I've ever seen in college basketball that Alabama just got through playing. But if I was being honest and no bias, I would put, so Tennessee holds a head-to-head against Bama, so I'd take Florida, Tennessee, Auburn, and Duke, and then Houston maybe a toss-up. But the SEC tournament 100%. So my thing is if Alabama can go through the tournament and kind of so I'm assuming what are we going to be? We're going to be a 4 seed. If we somehow go and beat Auburn. Thank you, Mitchell. Appreciate you, bro. If we somehow, I think we're a 4 seed. If Alabama can go and beat Auburn, I think we're a 4 seed. We'll be 3. Okay, we'll be a 3 seed. Oh, I thought Tennessee and Florida and Auburn. I thought they all had the aren't they better in conference? I thought we were. So Auburn is first in the SEC even with today's loss. They have 3 losses in the SEC. Tennessee I think has 4 losses. Florida is right there with Tennessee. Florida only has 3 losses. I don't says we're third. So maybe you're right. Maybe the win did do it. I hope it did. I mean, I hope it did. That'd be great. But either way, so let's say we're a 3 seed or a 4. It doesn't matter. We're going to have to go beat the Florida or the Tennessee or the Auburn. And if we can do that, consecutively and win, the tournament, I think we're a 1 seed. We're a shoe in for a 1 seed. I think if we make it to the finals and we beat some of these teams down the stretch, I think we could possibly be vying for a 1 seed. Right now, I'd say we're a safe 2. If we get just upset in the tournament and we just go out first round, like against like an Ole Miss or Mississippi State or an Arkansas, then I think we're a 3 seed, that's okay too. It's not the end of the world. Depth wise, I think we're posed to make a run, and the adversity that we face as a team this year is absolutely phenomenal. But I know you guys. I love college basketball, not as much as football, but I love college basketball. And I will say that Florida they're playing as good as anybody I've ever seen right now. They're playing great basketball. Auburn, even though we beat them today, God bless America, dude. They're playing such good ball. I mean, just such good ball. Duke, we don't know much about Duke, us being SEC fans. Hey, what's up, bro? It was a good game today, man. That was a good basketball game. I thought when it went to overtime, how modest, yeah. Mo Diabate. Yeah, I he is playing, dude. He's all over the place. He reminds me, like, I don't want to say it like, I think they play too many games. I mean, 30 something. Yeah. Mo Diabate reminds me of a Rodman, not Rodman with the Bulls, more like with the Pistons. Like he's just everywhere. He's everywhere. Like he's long. He's aggressive. He's freaking awesome, dude. Can't imagine not having anything to eat and playing like. I know. Let's see here. I think they mean to me. Yeah. So let me just. I'll keep chatting with you, but there's a couple of notes I wanted to kind of go over. So, going back to football. So A-Day, if you haven't seen, A-Day is April 12th. I will be there. I will be down in Tuscaloosa for A-Day. I'm super excited. I don't know what you guys have heard. I don't know what you've seen, but from what I gather from same stuff you probably look at all the time, it looks like Ryan Grubb is here. He is aggressive, and that's awesome, Jenny. We hope to see you there. Ryan Grubb apparently is making some moves, so take that for what it's worth. Anyone that's looked online today, I'm sure you've heard lots about Latsier Brooks. Apparently he does run the same playbook, but it's not the same. It's not the same as Nick Sheridan. So Nick Sheridan has had 1 year of calling plays. So 1 year of calling plays is not the same as someone who's had 20 years of calling plays with the same head coach. So I just got to call it what it is. It's not the same. But like I said, I mean, is it the same playbook? Sure, absolutely. But that's like, yeah, he won't get any excuses. I agree with you. But that's like someone saying, Pete Golding ran Nick Saban's defense. Well, so did Kirby Smart, but he ran it much better. I mean, let's call it what it is. Yeah, so the tall, big receiver role. So Latsier is not very tall. He's not a big guy. He's more of your Jalen Waddle type, and that's who they say they like very much reminds, very kind of that burst. But Isaiah Horton apparently is doing. Thank you for liking the live, Purnell. Apparently Isaiah Horton is doing wonders. He's really. I think he's probably picked up the number 3 receiver spot already, just because he is that guy. Brooks like Simmons from Auburn. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got you. Yeah. I'm sitting there. Yeah. Latsir Brooks is going to be good though. I mean, I'll be honest, man. We're deep at wide receiver. I hope we have someone that can just get them the ball. I believe in Ty. I believe Ty has been there long enough. Thank you for sharing. I think Ty has the Mac Jones vibe, and I'm thinking Ty is going to step in here. We're not going to ask him to, win the Heisman. What we're going to ask him to do is just go out and do his job, and I think he's going to do that for us. What's up, Spence? With that said, Ty is probably going to be it just because of his experience. He's had, this will be his fourth year in college. He's accustomed to the speed of everything that college has to offer. But I'm going to tell you, Keelan Russell is coming on fire. Dude, his hair is on fire. Everything I've heard on him, he is absolutely, he's the next guy. I mean, Austin Mack, I feel bad for you. You're not going to even get a shot. I don't even think you'll get a shot. So I mean, that's my opinion. Yeah, dude. Yeah. So I agree. Simpson, we don't need a home run. We need a guy who can get the ball out of his hands, avoid some pressure every once in a while. I'm thinking the O-line's going to get cleaned up, and we need a guy just to deliver the ball to our wide receivers. So everyone, we've been through it with Milroe. I've said way too much about Milroe in the past, and I'm not going to be negative about him anymore. But I need a quarterback that can just be a quarterback. We don't need an all-star. We don't need an first-round pick. All we need is somebody to come in and just play quarterback, and I think we'll be okay. We have wide receivers that can do amazing things. We have running backs, if they get holes, can do amazing things. Tight ends, I mean, we're really good. Defense is going to be stacked. So all we need to do is manage the game and not turn the ball over in critical moments, critical games. And I think we're going to be okay. With that said, there was a couple of things I want to talk about today. So I don't know if you guys have seen this. What do you think about Wade Grubb spoke about AK? I didn't hear what he said about AK Deer. I'm assuming AK Deer is what you're talking about. I haven't heard what he said about him yet. But I think AK Deer is coming in, and you got Riley, you got Daniel Hill, and I'm going to tell you, he's probably on their heels. But I didn't hear about it. But anyway, so what I want to talk about, I don't know if you've seen this, but talks have been coming up. How do we enforce, I don't want to say how do we regulate NIL? How do we regulate NIL? So a couple of things have been proposed by the Big Ten and the SEC and the big conferences. They have proposed an enforcement committee that would be ran by a legal team. It would help regulate NIL, and if you were caught violating NIL, which when we start doing revenue sharing, the NCAA has stepped in and said you will have to actually perform name, image, and likeness, jobs, if you want to call it that, in order to get paid that money. So with that said, they're talking about having an enforcement committee led by a legal team that would regulate NIL. And if you were caught violating anything in pertaining to, I guess, NIL, it would hit your team revenue sharing. So you would actually get less money to share via revenue. So, and like I said, I think the max is 20. Roll Tide, Austin. That was a big win today. I think the max that you can right now, it's up in the air. So 20 million is where everyone's at, but then everyone's saying, oh, well, we want 25. The Ohio States, the Texas, we want to spend 25 on our football team. So with that said, no one is just going to throw away $20 million. It's not going to happen. No one's going to do that. But if there's a team like Ohio State, they can afford to throw it away. They can afford to throw it away. It is, Austin. Hey, man, big win today. We got it. Like I said, we were just talking about basketball. If we are able to go in the tournament, we may end up pulling out a number one seed. But so I don't know what anybody thinks about that. But the enforcement committee helping to regulate NIL is something that I think a lot of people. Thank you for following, Jenny. I appreciate you so much. I think everyone is kind of watching and waiting to see how we regulate NIL, and I think this is the step. This was proposed by the conferences. We need to make sure we understand that. I believe that this would be a good step in the right direction. Is this going to be the only step needed? Absolutely not. But we still need we need loads. The transfer portal's got to be reworked. It's got to do a lot of stuff. Roll Tide, Eric. Roll Tide, brother. The transfer portal's got to be really addressed very soon. I mean, I think every major head coach program is wanting the transfer portal addressed. Not saying you can't transfer. Just want to regulate when it's open, when it's closed. You've already seen big name universities like Texas and Nebraska cancel their spring games for fear of poaching and worried about depth charts and playing time and things like that. So people are canceling spring games, which are traditions. I mean, they're traditions. A-Day. I mean, you can see it right. I have it posted right here. You can see A-Day is a tradition in Alabama that, I love it. It's one of the best times of the year. You take your family. You don't have to worry if you have to leave at halftime because your kids are cranky. My kids are young, so if I have to leave at halftime, I'm not missing anything. You know, I mean, I'm not missing a game. I'm getting up and I'm just kind of, hanging out in Tuscaloosa. I'm letting them feel the vibes, letting them feel, I live in Tennessee. So my kids, they're like, why do we not root for Tennessee? Because they suck. I mean, that's just the end of it. But at the end of the day, they get to see, the place that means so much. Thank you for following there. That means so much to me, and it's a great family experience. I freaking love it. Mitchell, mine are 10 and 7, so they have been to a couple A-Days, a couple football games, but I'm gonna try to start making it a more regular thing because I want them to understand. The why we love it so much. I mean, anyone that's been there, I mean, it's freaking awesome. But anyway, the NIL regulatory committee would be a very interesting thing. It's supposed to be a non-biased party, and it's supposed to be like an elected legal team. This be like a joint committee from like different conferences. So the conference would all have a say. Every conference would have a say in who they wanted, and it would be like obviously a pretty good step in the right direction because obviously hitting someone where it hurts, and that's the pocketbook, is what's going to matter. Like I said, if we came out tomorrow, let's just talk about storming the field, for instance. If we came out tomorrow and we said, hey, if you storm the field, we're going to make you pay $5 million. Do you think the universities would let anyone storm the field? I'm telling you right now. We all act like it's no big deal to them, but $5 million, instead of 200,000. Yeah, nobody'd storm the field anymore. But anyway, hit them where it hurts. Money talks. So obviously, I think what it'll be is what they're talking about is a first offense would be like, I don't know what the first offense is. $2 million. So you'd get $18 million to spend on revenue sharing, which $18 million. That's $2 million less that you're giving to your football team. So if you're trying to recruit your Ohio State and you get hit with an NIL sanction and you have $15 million to spend when everyone else has 20, obviously there's going to be a disadvantage for you. So I think that's a good step in the right direction. I'd be very curious to see where it goes, though, because obviously we're just now getting started and this is kind of new, and it's not even been approved yet. So Bama fans, I'm just telling you, I've been watching, trying to follow the combine, follow everything. So no, I don't ever remember it. I don't even think it's happened in my lifetime. So I said this on the podcast in the fall when we were all on here, but do you guys realize that Alabama's on a 10-game streak? When they lose on an opposing opponent's field, they've stormed it. Like the last 10 times that we've lost on an away game. It's a streak that'll never be broken ever. It'll never be broken ever again. No matter what. It's a silly streak, but it'll never be broken. The last 10 games that we have lost, people have stormed the field against Alabama. So interesting. But yes, I don't ever remember us doing it, Mitchell, ever. I was going to say, though, I've been following the 40 and not 40, I'm sorry, the combine. I think thank you for sending that, Mitchell. I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you as always. I think Jalen Milroe made a huge mistake. So Jalen Milroe did not run the 40. He did not go through most of the drills. I think he looked like absolute dog shit throwing the football. I don't know if you saw the videos, but I think he looked like absolute dog shit. missing wide open people. No surprise to us. And I'm not trying to be critical of him. What I'm trying to do is just tell you my thoughts. But essentially, I thought he looked terrible. I think he would really have gained a lot if he would have ran that 40 time and put up a 4.3 or 4.4. Done some of the drills and really showed out. I think that would have really propelled his draft stock. Right now, I can't see him going over in the third. I think he's a third rounder at best, and he's a project. He's 100% a project, and anyone that's willing to take that risk, it's a risk. It's a risk with Milroe because Milroe can't throw. Best Alabama quarterback I have seen. So Dre says best Alabama quarterback I've seen. I'm gonna say talent-wise, Tua. Tua's biggest problem was he got hurt. He got hurt a lot. Bryce Young had a very uncanny feel. Bryce Young is mentally, Bryce is just as good as Tua. The problem is Tua has more of the physical attributes. Bryce is very small, but I'm telling you what, Bryce is a competitor. But in all honesty, I would say I'd say Tua. My favorite year of a quarterback was Mac Jones in 2020. Him and Devontae Smith. I'm going to be honest. I didn't even worry when the offense came on the field. I thought we were going to score every time. I thought we were going to score every time in 2020. I had that much confidence. Like I walked around like with just some swag, like because I just knew we were going to score. So that's my opinion. I think Tua, as far as talent goes, and you got to think Alabama doesn't have they don't have a long list of quarterbacks that are just outstanding. So we talked about the Nick Saban prodigies. You had Bryce and Tua, Jalen Hurts, who was here. He obviously, left, but he was here. And then, a Mac and, like I said, Bryce. But obviously, if you look at the history of Alabama quarterbacks, so like, I think those are the only first rounders we had. No. Richard Todd was sixth. Richard Todd was a sixth pick overall. But after, like, I think, before that, like you got to go all the way to Kenny the Snake, and that was the AFL, I believe. That wasn't even the NFL draft. That was before the merger. So you got to think like Alabama hasn't had this long list of quarterbacks, but in my opinion, Tua definitely was probably the best and most talented. But Mac Jones was something. That year was just something magical. So I don't even know. But anyway, I was going to say that I think Milroe could have really helped himself if he would have, I don't know. I was expecting him to run the 40. I was expecting him to do really well in the 40, and I feel like he didn't. I felt like he just kind of hurt his but he could be planning on Pro Day. So Pro Day obviously would give him a leg up, and obviously if he did Pro Day and it worked out okay, I think he could propel his draft status. I mean, throw to his own receivers, things like that. But I just I don't know, man. Like I said, I've been negative on him all year. And to be honest, like I thought he had to come out, do every drill flawlessly to even be considered a top pick. And I don't think he did that. So with that said, I think he's still a third round pick in my mind. But, I mean, I didn't think he threw well either. But so what I was getting at, though, is I do think someone did improve their draft stock. Jahad Campbell coming out and running a 4.5 to 40. With his size, his aggressiveness, his knack for the football, just how his instincts, I think he could go first round as an inside linebacker. It'd be later. It'd be like 20s. But I think Jahad Campbell stands a very good shot at going first round. The 40 time, all it did was help propel that status because I think we all knew he was a great inside linebacker. But when you run a 40 at 4.52 inside linebacker, that's pretty good. I know there's a lot of inside linebackers that run that, but I mean, you got to look at the whole package. And I think Jahad is going to be a very good middle linebacker for many years in the NFL. I think he definitely has that trait about him. So I'm looking good, and I'm looking forward to Jahad Campbell getting drafted. So now, with that said, we got to give credit where credit is due. I think the biggest winner of all the combine that I saw a lot of stuff. I saw the Texas wide receiver run the 4.29. I saw a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. The the one thing that I saw that surprised me, impressed me the most, James Pierce Jr. ran a 4.4740 plan with his hand in the dirt. Now, will he be a jack linebacker in a 3-4 scheme? Possibly. He would be perfect for a jack linebacker position. Perfect. And I'm going to tell you, he'd be a damn threat. He's a little small to play defensive end in the NFL. So I'm thinking he's going to line up and play a Sam or a Will in your, no, not Will. I'd probably play a Sam or a Jack in your 3-4. But there's nothing to say he couldn't do that. I mean, this kid, we all knew James Pierce Jr. was good at Tennessee, and it kills me to say it. We knew he was good. He played great against us. We knew he was a great player. But to come out and run a 4.4740, knowing that you played on the D line all year, I mean, absolutely destroyed it. I mean, I don't know how he doesn't really compare to Will Anderson. Will Anderson's more of a physical presence, and Will Anderson's proven that in the NFL. So I mean, it's not like it's but he definitely compares to a Dallas Turner. He definitely compares to Dallas Turner. I think James Pierce Jr. is going to be a top 10 pick. Could be top 5, depending on the need. I don't think he's as good as some of the other people, but I think he's definitely that 4.47 is definitely going to turn some NFL scout heads, and they're definitely going to be trying to vie for him. The other thing I want to say about the combine before we go into our last topic, I think Stephen Paella set a bench record so I like weights. I like to stay in shape. This kid set the record with 49 reps of 225, and I mean, dude, he did not even look like. I've seen some jacked people walk through there, some monsters not do what this kid did. This kid, I mean, he was a big boy. He was a lineman, but he didn't look like a stud. I was absolutely impressed. I was absolutely impressed with the 49 reps and setting a record. I mean, it just tells you we've got a lot. Things that you don't think will ever be touched, that they're touched. But, and just FYI, real quick score update. UNC has taken the lead at home against Duke, and it's 54-49. That means so they're doing good there. So the next thing I want to talk about, this is the last topic, I swear, and then we're going to just kind of call it a night. Like I said, we're going to basically go over this though. And I have a couple of things. So one, I've got the new numbers. Sorry, what the heck is this? No, that's not the one. I got the new, dang it. So where'd it go? Okay. Let's see. I want to talk about numbers. So all the new players, I got all their numbers. Oh man, I'm just trying to see if Derek Meadows getting the number 30 because of his brother. That was his brother's number. I'm just trying to look. Nakai Hill Green, he'll be 41 coming in. Just looking to see if I see a name that I've heard that I've been told we definitely need to watch out for on the offensive side is Peter Knutson. He was the Ball State or the transfer 6'7" tight end. Said this kid is an absolute sixth lineman. Big body, more of a presence, but basically huge body to go out there and help block. And I think that's critical because that's kind of what we need on that O-line. We lost CJ Dupree, who had a very good combine, and and we lost our boy Robbie Oots. So AK Deer with the number 0, Isaiah Horton with the number 1. Mbakwe will now move from 9 to 3. Daniel Hill has moved to 4. Dijon Lee, name to remember, Dijon Lee, 6'4" corner that moves and is very fluid. He'll be number 5. Jalen Hale is now number 8. Justin Hill out of Ohio, D lineman. They said his name is definitely coming up. He'll be 8 too. Cam Calhoun has showed out to practice. This guy could absolutely be vying for that nickel, that husky position. that nickelback. He could be vying for it. Right now, I think it'll be Cyrus Jones, or is it? No, it's what's his name? Ah, it's eluding me, but number 5. But well, no, he didn't number 5 no more. Anyway, but Cam Calhoun could definitely do it. Justin Jefferson has moved to number 10. Jordan Renaud, number 11. Keelan Russell takes the number 12 spot. Ivan Taylor is another one that guys we're stacked. I mean, defense is stacked. I know it's crazy, but it seems to me like we are in a very good position for the future. I know that's been crazy. I know that everybody Saban's gone, blah blah blah. The talent that's there, and the other thing, the key that I wanted to note about the numbers, it looks to me like everyone that has the same number now. So I said Justin Hill, defensive lineman, and then you had Jalen Hill. So it looks like defensive linemen, bigger boys are having the same numbers as wide receivers. So hopefully we don't have a Vanderbilt situation where we got two skill players out there with the same number, and get penalized for that. But okay, so last topic, Josh Pate. Love Josh Pate. Very, very, very good. Very usually on point. He's very tuned in to college football. But Josh Pate put out his 12 top programs. This has nothing to do with this year. This has nothing to do with this is brand. This is brand. This is value. So Georgia right now is number 1. Okay. Does anyone doubt? Yes, Georgia. And when we say value, I think there's more money flowing into the Ohio States. There's more money flowing into the Texases. But Georgia has the whole package. They've got the money, they've got the coach, they've got the titles, they've got the players, they've got the system. Everything that they do is on point. So Georgia number 1, no qualms with that whatsoever. Me being a Bama fan, great. Georgia, yes, absolutely. They deserve it. They've done everything they needed to do to get there. So Georgia's number 1. Number 2 is Ohio State. So the reigning national champions. And they're just going to get better, guys. They are primed. They have a system in place. They are going to go out and they're going to spend money on players. They're going to get the best players. They're going to be well coached. Like I said, we've already talked about. They went and got Heartline. They got promoted, and who else they get? Can't remember who they got, but yeah, they're gonna do well. I mean, it's Ohio State. They're going to be consistent. Number 3 surprised me. Number 3 is Michigan. So Michigan gets the 3rd. Thank you. Good win, man. Yes, it was awesome. Yes, we were very excited. Roll Tide, brother. We went over it. And like I said, I think if we can come in and actually dominate a little bit in the SEC tournament, if we can get through that, I think we may shore up a 1 seed at least, But number 3, the number 3 program, according to Josh Pate, is Michigan. So Michigan has Portnoy is throwing lots and lots and lots of money at Michigan as a program. They're spending money. They're going out and getting the best players. They just got the number 1 player in the nation, Bryce Underwood. Paid him a lot of money to come there, $12 million to come there. And LSU had the checkbook open, but Michigan said, no, we'll beat whatever they offer. And they did. So Michigan is in a spot like Ohio State. They're going to go out and they're going to spend money to be relevant. They're going to spend money to get players to come to them. And I'll be honest with you, Michigan, they've won a title the past 5 years. They look primed to be competitive. They beat Alabama in the bowl game a lot thanks to Milroe and his wonderful performance. But Michigan, definitely a good program. I could see them being top 3. Like I said, they may not have had the best year, but they did beat Ohio State. They did beat Alabama, and they are doing some of the things right on the recruiting front. They're a big school with big money, big donors, and so yes, I could definitely see them being up there in the top 5. Texas comes in at 4. So this one surprised me. I would have thought they'd been higher. The money is there with Texas. The money is there. There's no one that's going to throw around money like Texas does. Texas is going to throw around more money than anyone. Ohio State is going to go out and get those transfer players. Michigan's going to do it. Texas is going to do it too. But but Texas doesn't have the resume right now. They don't have the national titles. It's been a while. They don't have they have talent. They just haven't put it all together yet. So as soon as they are able to get over that hump and win that title, they're going to go right up to the top. Maybe not past Georgia, but they'll be up there with Ohio State and stuff. But right now, I mean, I honestly, yeah, I mean, Texas is a top program no matter how you look at it. And like I said, this is looking at the whole picture. Number 5, Alabama. Alabama has titles. Alabama has a pedigree. They have awesome talent. I just went over all the talent that Alabama has. Alabama's loaded with talent. Even after Saban, we're still loaded with talent. After all the transfers we've had, we're loaded with talent. Like I said, the only thing we're doing now is we have a new coach. So we've got to go out, just like Sarkisian, just at Texas, we've got to go out and we've got to win one. Just like Michigan, we got to go out and win one. We do that, our stock goes up, we go up. We don't have a Kirby Smart right now. We've got a Kalen DeBoer. So he hasn't won one. So again, we've got a lot to prove, but we're on our way. Number 6, I'm just going to run down the list, though, is Oregon. I think Dan Lanning has done a great job. Oregon, you saw what Oregon was able to produce. They made it to the playoffs as a 1 seed. They came up short. I mean, Ohio State caught fire. They came up short. But Oregon is not going anywhere. They will be relevant for many years, many years. Number 7, and this one is not a shock, but this one, to know where they were before all this and to how far they've come, Notre Dame is number 7. So Notre Dame is not going anywhere. They are willing to spend money. They are willing to do the things that are necessary to win football games. And at the end of the day, Notre Dame is going to be relevant for a long time with Marcus Freeman at the helm. So Notre Dame's number 7. Number 8, this is value now, brand, Tennessee. Tennessee, Heupel's got them relevant. They're not quite. They're B tier. They're not quite on the upper echelon of these other programs, but they made it to the playoffs. Credit where credit is due, and right now their stock is going up. The problem is they have money, but they don't have more money than all these other teams. Like I said, in terms of revenue, Tennessee's not a top 10 school in terms of revenue, but they have money and they're willing to spend it. All these teams are willing to spend it. That's the problem, is Tennessee's not going to spend any more than anyone else is. So the deal is like Ohio State, they'll spend more than you will. Ole Miss will spend more than you will. But honestly, Tennessee, they have money. They're going to spend it. They're going to go out and they're going to be relevant. And with Heupel they're consistent. So Tennessee, kudos, top 10 program right now at number 8. Number 9, Penn State. So Tennessee, think about this. Tennessee is over Penn State as far as rankings. And this is according to Josh Pate. And but Penn State, Franklin, he turned the page last year. I think he did a very, very good job in terms of navigating them through the season, through the playoffs. He still can't, he gets flustered way too often. He's not cool enough to be a head coach. He gets flustered and he's going to puff his chest out against fans and shit. But at the end of the day, Franklin's got them winning games. They play 1 or 2 big games a year. They typically lose them, and then they go to the playoffs. And like I said, they did good. I mean, they did good this year, but at the end of the day, they're top 10. Number 10 is LSU. So LSU at number 10. LSU's, history. LSU's going to spend money. You can see their transfer. They were number 1 in the transfer portal this offseason. So they're going to go out and they're going to get players. They're going to spend money. They're going to be relevant. Brian Kelly, I don't like Brian Kelly. He's a good coach though, so you can't knock the guy. So LSU top 10. Number 11, sitting right outside the top 10 is Clemson. Dabo has titles. Dabo is late to the transfer portal. Clemson has money. Okay, Clemson has money. Dabo is late to the transfer portal game. He's starting to get more involved with it, but he's late to the transfer portal. They have a decent NIL program. All he has to do is start winning again, start getting 10-3 is not good enough for Clemson. Honestly, it's not. You saw how they played in the playoffs. They just absolutely got destroyed. Just not a normal Dabo team. But like I said, once he starts acknowledging the transfers and filling the gaps that he has in his program with talent, they'll be tough to beat. Clemson will be right back up there. And then the final top 12 from Josh Pate, Ole Miss. So I didn't take notes on any of these things. These are just opinions. But Ole Miss comes in at 12. They have nothing to show. They have no wins. Okay, they have wins. They had a great year. They missed the playoffs just like Alabama did. They had some big time wins against big time programs. They beat Georgia emphatically. They're a great team this year. So now we're moving on. Jackson Dart's moving on. Does anyone think that Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss is not going to spend money? They're going to spend it. The problem is they don't have the money to spend. When I say that, they have just as much money as Alabama. All these programs are right there with each other. They have people donating left and right. But at the end of the day, no one is going to continue to donate without results. So getting to the precipice is not the same as getting to the summit. So bottom line is they have to they're right there. They can see it. Their fans can see it. But they haven't made it yet. And so Ole Miss is a great school. And bottom line is if you know anything else about Ole Miss and you don't know anything, I guess, besides the fact they're going to spend money to be relevant. They're going to spend money to get players there. And I'll be honest with you, Lane Kiffin did a great job of managing the roster and keeping those players happy because honestly, like he brought in loads of talent. And honestly, they played very well, and it showed. It showed how much talent they had when they played against the Georgias. But with that said, I don't mind Ole Miss being 12. I'm shocked. I want to see what everyone else thinks, but I'm shocked. Texas A&M's not in the top 12 in terms of programs. I know they don't have any like huge, titles to lay their head on, but neither does Ole Miss. And Texas A&M's got money. But Josh Pate, right now, they're just not in a consistent state. Jimbo has left them reeling, much like Florida State. With that said, that is all we have for tonight. So we are locked, loaded, and goated. And when I say we normally have a panel. We've got some Tennessee fans, Bama fan, Georgia fan. We've got everyone here, and we normally go back and forth. It's the off season. We're all trying to do our own thing. But with that said, we have a podcast during the season every Wednesday and Saturday night at 8:30. We will be live doing the same things we're doing now. You can find the podcast, though, on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. And we appreciate everyone for showing up. We are locked, loaded, and goated, and you guys stay cool for this week, and hopefully Alabama will make a run during these playoffs. I say playoffs, this tournament. All right.